How's it going, everyone? So my conversation today is about written content and crypto art. The title is very long, so I can't even say it myself. But really what I came to talk about today is crypto and poetry and the intersection between written content, crypto, and poetry. So just a little bit about myself. I first learned about crypto while living on the island of Yap in Micronesia. I lived there for 2 years as a volunteer teacher, and while I was there, these two German travelers were on this really like bougie diving vacation, and I met them, one night at a hostel, and we were just having some drinks, and they told me about Bitcoin. This is like, somewhere like 2015, early 2016, and I became just really interested in the industry. And so, from there, I started to write about crypto, and that's, really what I have for my contribution to my very small contribution to this space. The last 4 years I've been a content creator and crypto writer, and been covering the industry exclusively. So these are some of the brands that I've worked with, some of the places that I've been published at, and then I also started working with the NFT Holy People, which is launching its roadmap tonight, and then minting in the next couple weeks. So about what I really came to talk about today, I try to make this like 10% shill, 90% industry research. So do my best out here. So written content and poetry on the blockchain really starts with Dan Kaminski and his project Messages in the Minds. So this is like the first Bitcoin haiku. Supply and demand dictates that a $5 Bitcoin is okay. This was a message that was written in 2011. This is like a really cool project, and unfortunately Dan Kaminski is no longer with us. So I definitely suggest checking this out. In his legacy, he's provided so much to the space, and this is just another example of an early contribution that he pretty much made a legacy for on the blockchain. So this is a timeline of poems and NFTs that have existed over the last few years. So the first time that a poem has really been tokenized into like an NFT, or at least when they tried to do it, was at the NFT conference in 2018. Just out of curiosity, was anyone in the room at that conference? Raise your hand. NFT 2018. All right. So this is where they created a format for a token auction, and for a blockchain poetry auction. This is the first blockchain poetry auction to take place. Excuse the dates on this, but it should say 2019, which is this second one here to the right of the Nifty. That's the first real NFT that appeared on OpenSea, that appeared circa 2019. After that, the next poem that appeared is in the top, just right above, and it's a really small white block, and that's actually created using glitch and AI. So it's just randomly generated numbers and characters, alphanumeric characters. Below that one, as you'll see, some of you might know that Ether Poems. Ether Poems was launched in April, and it's been one of the most successful launches that has taken place for crypto and poetry. If anything's going to put it on the map, it's definitely that project. Above that, with the brown background, is actually one of my NFTs. It's called Planetpoems, and you could find information about that at planetpoems.com. But I minted the first Planet poem in early 2020, right before NFT.NYC, and essentially what the project is one-for-one crypto poem that's printed physically on plantable paper that transforms into seeds, and eventually it grows leaves. And so they're all one-for-one, one-of-ones available on planetpoems.com. I just launched a few of them, so you could find out some more information about those there. Some of the other poems that are on the screen, Brendan North in the bottom right corner, he's probably my favorite crypto poem. I have no affiliation to him whatsoever, but essentially what he's doing with poetry and what some of these other crypto poets are doing is making poetry a lot less static and more video-oriented. So what he did was he printed these poems on this 1930s typewriter, and he took a picture and a video of the actual paper stained with coffee, and he took a video of it, and that's what you see. It's the real picture, it's the real coffee print that's burning, and that's like so cool. And just to be able to do that with poetry, is just amazing. That's what NFTs are doing, and really, I said this with Ian on the interview, Ian from Attention Live on the interview last week. This is really creating a second coming for poetry. People aren't going out there and buying poetry chapbooks, and people aren't doing that anymore. We don't have books of poems. The majority of us don't at our houses, but this is a unique way for poetry to combine with art in a way that speaks to our generation. So this is the floor prices as of about 2 weeks ago of some of the different top-performing NFT poetry projects. So we have Ether Poems, almost 35,000 or 35 ETH traded at the time. We have Burning Thoughts, which was the one in the bottom right corner. Significantly smaller, but still pretty amazing considering, this is a poet and, an artist. It's hard to really describe his work, but it's, blending these different mediums. It's a pretty good payday for a collection of poetry. It's really well thought out and it's really well deserved, but it's a solid payday. And then Arch Hades, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but this is from Super Rare. The top two are from OpenSea. This bottom one's from Super Rare, and this is her collection, which has generated $17,000 in secondary market sales. So this is really putting poetry, back on the map. Well, on the map. So some of the challenges within the space that we're facing, it's expensive. The gas fees are ridiculous. So if you're an up-and-coming artist, it's tough to be able to afford stuff like this and to be able to spend ETH on minting a poem, whereas you could just write one and print one for a lot less than the price of gas. There's technical requirements, so you have to know a little bit of industry jargon. You have to know how to at least use OpenSea, which is becoming increasingly more easy, or some of these other platforms that are out there. There's written and visual components, so it's getting more challenging to just write or just have a visual component. So they're combining them together into this new medium, which is really cool. And then obviously it's NFTs, so you need tokens in order to participate in the poetry. Some of the trends that are happening, like I said, they're becoming audio, but they're also becoming visual. One I didn't really touch upon earlier that was up there. It's a spoken word poem that's like, it has the words on the screen, but then it also has the audio that's going along with it too. So it's audio and visual. Poetry is becoming a lot less static. Almost 99% of the poetry that I've ever looked at has been, in some kind of like black text in a white book somewhere. So it's totally transforming the font and the layout of the book and the way that we look at poetry. And poetry is becoming increasingly lucrative. We're having projects, with single artists generating tens of thousands of dollars. So it's definitely becoming more lucrative to be a poet. So I spoke about this a little bit earlier. This is my NFT project, Planetpoems.com. You could find out more about this on the website, but like I said, it's a one-for-one, totally unique poem. That's one on the Ether blockchain, but two, you get a physical copy that's actually printed on this seeded paper. This company out in Boulder, Colorado, is where I got this paper from. It's a really, really cool paper, and I've been working with it for close to 2 years now, doing these crypto poems, and it's pretty amazing to just see NFTs just blow up over the last year. I wanted to do crypto poems because it was a way for me to release these poems that I wrote in California when I was going to different conferences 3 or 4 years ago, talking about crypto and learning and just about entrepreneurialism and just being in my 20s and trying to make it in the world. So if you're interested, go to planetpoems.com, see me after the presentation, or you can scan this QR code. I don't know if it's going to work from down there, but that might also work. So thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. Hope you all have a great week. Feel free to say hi to me. Thanks.